Hi viewers, welcome to T4U Tutorials. In this tutorial we will be comparing a normal flight in a normal Boeing 737 flight in Flight Simulator X and a flight from PMDG-NGX. This is a normal flight in FSX and this is a Boeing 737. Now if we are looking into the interior of the cockpit, here you can see the instruments and displays all around us. But if we are looking to the center console, most of the buttons in this particular this is the radio stack of the flight, and most of the buttons in the radio stack is inactive. Look at these buttons. Every of these buttons are inactive, and it's just like given for a display. There is no functions with these buttons. Now if we are going a little up, even here we have a cabin door button, which is actually just given for a display. Now if we are looking to the overhead panel, this is the overhead panel of the normal flight, and in this all these buttons are just for the sake of appearance. I mean, this gives some appearance. There is nothing use, there is no use of this. Like few of these buttons will work, whereas most of the buttons in the overhead panel doesn't work. Nothing, it's just given for an originality. There is nothing used in it. Here if I'm giving a 3D view of it, here it is, and all these buttons no work. Few buttons like landing lights or anti-collision lights and the pumps, these buttons will work, whereas most of the buttons won't. Now let us see the interior of a Boeing 737 by the PMDG. Here is the interior of the flight. They have introduced a lot of stuffs which will give originality to your flight interior. For example, let's see the CDU pre-flight here. The CDU display, even it is working, we can work on CDU displays by pressing the buttons. Every button on the CDU pre-flight will work. And so this is about, and now let's see all the other stuffs which we have already seen in a normal flight. All the buttons here will work. Now this is the overhead panel, and this is your radio stack. See here. So every buttons will work. This, every buttons will work. This is one specialty of PMDG-NGX. Now this is the overhead panel. Let's look at the overhead panel. This is the overhead panel. Every switches and every buttons in the overhead panel will work. And this in fact will deliver a kind of originality and real world experience for you. we have option to switch the flight off completely, which we call the cold and dark situation. And so it's that every switches will work. This is what every switches will work, is what I'm telling. We can deliver a real world, and here too we have stuffs. So this is a big difference between the normal flight in FSX and a flight from PMDG. This is the front view of the normal Boeing 737 flight in Flight Simulator X, and here you can see the two engines running. Now let us switch off the engines by cutting off the fuel connection. Here I'll cut off the yours. I'm cutting off the fuel, and you can see here in the display that the fuel is now off, the engine is now off. But when we are coming out, you can see the engines are still rotating. I mean, it's still powered. And it will never stop, even if we are waiting for minutes. It will keep on rotating. Now I am going to switch off or cut off the fuel in PMDG flight. Cutting off the fuel. And let's see how the engine stops. They are slowing down, and now they are in a full stop. So this is another big difference between PMDG. It's like a real flight. It delivers a real experience for the flyers, for the pilot, and also it has a lot of camera views. A lot of camera angles which is available, and also the graphics which is used in a PMDG flight. It's awesome. It's really original. It's superb, to be honest. So people, install PMDG and have a nice flight. Bye.